Hey there, it's Joe here at Financial Wellness University. I want to thank you for tuning into the channel. If you are not a subscriber, if you are a subscriber, I want to thank you for coming back. If you are not, please consider subscribing. Hit that little button as it comes up throughout the video. And whether you are a subscriber or not, please hit that like button to help more people see this video based on how YouTube ranks videos based on likes. So watch the video to the very end. Look at the links below on how to benefit financially from some links that I've put specifically to help you on your financial wellness journey. And today I want to talk about how to recession proof your finance. I'm not going to delve deep into it. It's a very short video, but I just want to talk about basically 3 things that you can do right now so that a recession or any economic downturn won't hurt you or destroy you financially. Now, if you've been following my channel, you know that I have a book called The 7 Phases of Financial Wellness right over my shoulder. And I tell people about the 7 distinct things that you need to be doing with money over and over. So today I'm going to talk about 3 specific things that you can do that definitely falls within the phases, but I want to highlight 3 specific things that you do. And the first one is budget. Budget. It sometimes budget seems like a dirty word, budget, but a budget is actually a way of tracking your money that frees you up, because now you can spend as much as you like within the budget category that you decided. So no one tells you how much you account for your budget. Your budget is really a guide to how you spend your money, how you make use of the money that's coming in and how it goes out. And a lot of the categories are predetermined based on your bills. Maybe you can lower your bills, maybe you can do some things to adjust them, but it's based on what you're spending. You're spending money on gas, you spend money on transportation, you spend money on your hygiene. These are things that you spend money. Spend money on food, your housing. So are you just looking at those things? And sometimes I know in my own experience, when I started to focus and do a distinct budget, like every month I adjusted for the unique expenses of that month, and I based it on my income, and then I looked at my expenses and I realized I was spending a whole lot of money on food, and that food was basically eating away all of my savings. Now, you may be a person that like to eat. There might be a better way of doing it. Maybe you do some meal preps. Maybe you do, bulk purchases that help lower some of those. Definitely eating out is definitely one of the quickest ways to deteriorate in your money. So budgeting is one of the first things you do to prepare for a recession. And a recession is that economic downturn that we're experiencing, where prices are up and investments are being hit, and it just seems like everything is going in the wrong direction. But if you have a handle of what you're doing, you can ride the wave of any economic downturn. So budgeting is one of those key things. If you don't budget, you need to start now. And keep in mind, you don't have to master it right away. It's going to take a few months even to get a hold of what your expenses is, and get a hold of getting in the habit of of writing stuff down as you spend, so that you'll at least know if you're hitting your budget, or knowing what your budget should be, and then if you're hitting your budget. So it's just an exercise in learning yourself better. That's really what it is, because once you decide what your budget, your set budget is, you can alter it slightly. You don't have to do a massive alterations, but you can alter it slightly so that you can be a better steward, a better manager of your money. And then the next one is it's not something you hear a lot about, but it's called investing in precious metals. Precious metals, mainly silver and gold. Now, when you want to buy silver and gold, you want to stick to what's called the spot price. There's a lot of collector prices out there that go well beyond what the spot price. And the spot price, you just look it up, and you'll see spot price of silver. And what that is the determined, set price by the industry of what ounce of that metal would cost. And a lot of people who sell it, have what they call premium. So if the spot price is $20 and they're selling something for $25, that's a $5 premium. And it's hard to buy it at spot price unless you have a private sale or something, or unless you are a retailer. But just know what the spot price is before you make any purchases or before you sell anything, so you're getting a good deal. But the whole idea of precious metal is they are called a hedge against inflation. A hedge against inflation. And what does that mean in essence? Well, if I had $20 and I put it aside, say 20 years ago, right? And if I put $20 worth of silver away 20 years ago, today I can't buy the same things I bought with that $20 that I bought 20 years ago. I mean, the way things are going right now, I can't buy 20 what I did last year. But if I had silver that I had bought for $20 worth of silver 20 years ago, that would have increased. It increased beyond what the inflation rate is. Now, I'm not talking exact numbers, but inflation, let's just say inflation is about 2 to 3% a year, which we've had massive inflation recently, but 2 to 3% a year, if the price of that precious metal, silver or gold, usually goes at least with inflation or more, that means the same thing I bought with $20 20 years ago, I can still buy with that silver that I had. So I cash in that silver, and now it's going to be worth more than $20. So just for example's sake, that $20 of silver now is worth $35 or $40. See, that's the whole idea. Like a gold coin in 1902 was like a $20 piece. That was a $20 coin. But now a gold coin 100 years later is worth about $2,000. Now that's today's spot price at, around today, June 2022. But that's a massive example how something that was $20 100 years ago is now worth $2,000 100 years later. That's the whole idea of a hedge against inflation. So that's what the benefit of precious metals. And of course, like a lot of people say, I am not a financial advisor. I'm just giving you some education, giving you some advice based on what I would do, based on I think would be helpful to you. Of course, you need to talk to your investment professionals and those who you rely on to make your financial decisions before moving forward. But the ideal is that will help you with that money, because if you buried your money, it wouldn't. And of course, you know, the bank is almost as bad as burying it, because they're giving you not even 1%, but closer to half of 1%, if that, right? So, you know, your money is not growing with inflation, but it's growing a lot less than inflation. And inflation, in essence, the increase of the cost of goods and services. So now, if you're looking at this video anytime soon, you know that things are higher now than they were just months ago, years ago, and they're significantly higher. So, you know, so that's what silver and gold and other precious metals, that's what they do. They kind of maintain their value over time, so that the money that you would have had would have not grown, and now you in essence lost money by holding on to money. Now, the third one might even seem a little counter to the investing as a hedge of protection, but you need to have a savings. You need to have some cash. See, the way precious metal works is that if you have an emergency, you don't have to cash in your precious metals, because you have a reserve of cash to take care of immediate needs. Because until the point where retailers accept silver like they did 100 years ago, you know, as a form of currency, you have to cash in that at maybe a local coin dealer or a precious metal dealer online. You have to mail it away and then get a check or get cash, depending on how they pay you. But if you're saving, and the general rule of thumb is 3 to 6 months, and I like to advise people, I like to recommend that people not save more than 6 months in an emergency fund. If you're going to save, call it something else. Call it your splurge account. Call it your vacation fund. But the psychological effect of taking money out of your emergency fund for non-emergencies, you begin to treat it as if it's really not an emergency fund, and then when it's really not an emergency fund, you're going to dwindle it down to zero. So the idea is that you put away money to at least you have 3 or 6 months. And of course, when times get hard, maybe that 3 to 6 months is going to stretch anyway, because you're going to cut some things in order to not spend the same way. But 3 to 6 months, when I say 3 to 6 months of expenses, that means 3 to 6 months of what your take-home pay would be. So if your operating budget for the month is $5,000, you spend $5,000 a month on all the things that you need to live your life, then that means 3 months of it is $15,000. 6 months is 30, and so on and so forth. So the 3 things we do to kind of get a hedge against or to be a recession-proof type of activity is budgeting, getting a hold of your finances through budgeting and tracking what comes in, what goes out. Precious metals, which is a hedge against inflation, so it preserves the strength and value of your money, so it doesn't go down but goes up. And then the third one is to save. Just stop spending so much, and don't just not spend, but put the money that you was going to spend into a vehicle so that it won't be spent up. It might be in your safe, it might be in a box, it might be in the bank, but put it somewhere where you have self-control enough not to spend it on stuff that's not emergencies. So when emergencies come, you have it, and now you can deal with it. So I hope this video was helpful to you. If it was, please give me a thumbs up, subscribe, and hit the little bell so you'll be notified when new videos become available. Check out the links below if you're interested in getting my book. It is available for purchase on most online retailers, and I have links to several in the links below the video. Thanks again, and have a great day. God bless.